The plane lands. The door opens. And the man who steps out has survived 19 assassination attempts in less than 3 years. 19. His own brother leads a ghost unit that kills threats before they exist. Russian operatives control his movements under a secrecy protocol so classified, even allied governments can't penetrate it. 7 layers of protection. But here's what they're not telling you. The third and sixth layers don't just defend him, they eliminate anyone who gets close. This isn't about politics anymore. This is about a 36-year-old president who's become the most protected, most hunted leader in Africa. And the people trying to kill him? They're not who you think. The plane door opens and Captain Ibrahim Traoré descends the steps, not from any aircraft, but from a jet reserved exclusively for senior Russian officials. That image alone tells you everything about how dangerous his presidency has become. At 36 years old, Traoré leads Burkina Faso under a security apparatus so intricate, so layered with Russian oversight, that even his movements are state secrets. 7 rings of protection surround him at all times. Most analysts talk about the uniformed guards, the armored convoys, the visible muscle. But it's the third and sixth layers, silent, invisible, and lethally efficient, that keep him alive. And they've had to. Because in less than 3 years, 19 assassination attempts have targeted this man. 19. The most recent one nearly succeeded. Intelligence intercepts revealed a coordinated strike plan to the minute, involving jihadist cells with suspiciously sophisticated equipment and foreign logistics support. The kind of planning that doesn't happen in a vacuum. Traoré survived, but the message was clear. His enemies are not just local insurgents. They are well-funded, well-connected, and relentless. France, expelled from Burkina Faso after decades of military presence, has watched its influence collapse across the Sahel. The United States, which once saw the region as a counterterrorism priority, now finds itself sidelined by a generation of African leaders who view Western intervention as the problem, not the solution. And Traoré has become the face of that defiance. This is where the stakes become existential. Burkina Faso is not a regional power. It's landlocked, resource-strained, and surrounded by instability. Yet Traoré has managed to position his country at the center of a geopolitical storm. His rhetoric is uncompromising. Sovereignty over submission, autonomy over aid. He's expelled French troops, ended intelligence sharing agreements with Washington, and invited Russian military contractors to fill the vacuum. That decision alone has redrawn the security map of West Africa. Moscow doesn't just provide weapons. It provides deniability, speed, and a lack of conditions. No human rights lectures. No democratic benchmarks. Just results. But results come with costs. The jihadist insurgency that has plagued Burkina Faso for years hasn't weakened. It's adapted. Groups linked to Al-Qaeda and the Islamic State have shifted tactics, targeting not just military outposts, but the very infrastructure Traoré is trying to rebuild. Schools, health centers, roads. Every attack is a test of his legitimacy. And every time he survives an assassination attempt, his image grows stronger among his supporters. But so does the desperation of his enemies. You'll see why this moment matters. Traoré isn't just fighting for his own survival. He's fighting to prove that a new model of African leadership can work, one that rejects foreign paternalism and embraces alternative partnerships, no matter how controversial. The Russian protection framework he operates under is called Titus, a classification so restricted that even allied intelligence agencies struggle to penetrate it. The third layer involves electronic warfare units that jam communications within a 3-kilometer radius of Traoré's location at any given time. The sixth layer is even more disturbing. Preemptive neutralization teams, authorized to eliminate threats before they materialize. This isn't defense. It's a kill chain operating in the shadows of a sovereign nation, run by foreign operatives accountable to no one but Moscow. And here's the question no one is asking out loud. What happens if Traoré falls? Does Burkina Faso stabilize? Or does it fracture into another Mali, another Chad, another theater of proxy conflict where foreign powers fight through local proxies? His survival isn't just about one man. It's about whether a generation of young African leaders can break the cycle of coups, corruption, and external domination. Traoré believes he can. His enemies believe he's a liability. And Russia believes he's an asset worth protecting. They don't wear standard military fatigues. Their uniforms are unmarked, their weapons non-standard issue, and their movements synchronized to a level most special forces units never reach. These are the men who stand closest to Captain Ibrahim Traoré, and every single one of them has been chosen not for loyalty alone, but for lethality. This is not ceremonial protection. This is a kill-or-be-killed security apparatus designed to keep a 36-year-old president alive in one of the most dangerous political environments on Earth. And it's working. Barely. Traoré's personal bodyguard unit operates under a selection process so rigorous that fewer than 5% of candidates make it through. Battle-hardened soldiers, many of them veterans of counterinsurgency operations in the volatile north, undergo months of additional training led by Russian military instructors. Close-quarters combat, counter-surveillance, rapid vehicle extraction under fire. These are not drills. They are rehearsals for scenarios that have already happened 19 times. The bodyguards rotate shifts in pairs, never the same combination twice in a row, making it nearly impossible for an insider to predict patterns. Trust is a luxury Traoré cannot afford, so he built a system where even his protectors are watched. This is where the third layer becomes critical. It's led by Traoré's own brother, Inusa Traoré, a figure so deeply embedded in operational secrecy that his role is never publicly acknowledged. Inusa commands a ghost unit, a hand-picked team whose sole mandate is internal threat elimination. They don't protect the president from external attacks. They protect him from betrayal. Every guard, every aide, every official in proximity to the president is under their watch. Communications are monitored. Movements are tracked. Anomalies are investigated immediately. This unit answers to no chain of command except Inusa himself, and that creates a parallel power structure within Burkina Faso's military, one that exists entirely in the shadows. The tactical precision of Traoré's security is visible in the smallest details. Bulletproof vests are rated to stop armor-piercing rounds, not just standard small arms fire. Tactical earpieces are encrypted on rotating frequencies, making interception nearly impossible. Formations shift depending on the environment. Tight clusters in open spaces, dispersed positioning in urban settings. Every member of the team is trained to act as both shield and weapon, capable of neutralizing a threat in seconds while maintaining protective coverage. And it's not just theory. During one assassination attempt last year, footage later analyzed by military experts showed the bodyguard unit executing a textbook counter-ambush maneuver, repositioning under fire and extracting Traoré within 40 seconds. 2 attackers were killed. 0 bodyguards were lost. But here's what makes this system unusual. The 6th layer isn't military at all. It's civilian. The Volunteers for the Defense of the Homeland, known as VDP, are local militias integrated into Traoré's protection network. These are ordinary Burkinabe citizens, farmers, and tradesmen who have taken up arms to defend their communities from jihadist insurgents. Traoré has weaponized that grassroots mobilization, embedding VDP members into his outer security perimeter. They provide early warning, crowd control, and a decentralized intelligence network that formal military units cannot replicate. It's a controversial tactic. Human rights organizations have documented abuses by VDP forces, and their lack of formal training raises risks. But from Traoré's perspective, the calculation is simple. These are people with skin in the game, harder to bribe, harder to infiltrate, and motivated by survival, not salary. You'll see why this layered approach matters. Traditional security models rely on centralized control and professional soldiers. Traoré's model is hybrid, blending elite Russian-trained operatives, a secret familial enforcement unit, and decentralized civilian militias into a single defensive network. It's adaptive, redundant, and unpredictable. But it also reveals a deeper truth about his presidency. He governs in a state of permanent siege. Every layer of protection is an acknowledgement that the threats are not diminishing. They are evolving. Show more. 12:16 a.m. Burkina Faso's National Intelligence Agency doesn't just gather information. It hunts threats before they materialize. Biometric databases track thousands of individuals flagged as potential risks. Informant networks operate in every major city, every border crossing, every military garrison. And when the data points align, when a pattern emerges that suggests violence is imminent, the response is surgical and silent. This is how Captain Ibrahim Traoré has survived what others could not. Not luck, not charisma. A state intelligence apparatus rebuilt from the ground up to function as both radar and weapon. Layer 4 of Traoré's security is the National Intelligence Agency, known locally as ANR. Under his presidency, it has transformed from a reactive bureaucracy into an offensive counterintelligence machine. Facial recognition systems monitor public gatherings. Cell phone metadata is analyzed in real time. Border checkpoints are equipped with biometric scanners linked directly to central databases in Ouagadougou. The goal is simple: identify threats before they reach the president. And the results speak for themselves. In the past 2 years alone, ANR operations have disrupted at least 4 credible assassination plots, including one that involved explosives smuggled across the border from Côte d'Ivoire, and another that traced financing back to accounts linked with foreign intelligence services. The details of these operations remain classified, but leaked documents suggest the agency operates with a level of autonomy that blurs the line between intelligence work and extrajudicial enforcement. This is where the stakes become institutional. Traoré doesn't just rely on elite bodyguards or secret units. He relies on an entire intelligence ecosystem designed to see around corners. Informants embedded within opposition groups, within civil society organizations, even within religious networks, feed information upward. Some are paid, others are coerced. The ethics are murky, but the effectiveness is undeniable. When a coup attempt was being planned by mid-level officers in late 2023, ANR had infiltrated the cell weeks before the first weapon was moved. Arrests were made quietly. No trial, no media coverage, just disappearances. But intelligence alone doesn't secure a presidency. Layer 5 is where hard power enters the equation. Burkina Faso's national army, though stretched thin by the ongoing jihadist insurgency, maintains a dedicated force of several thousand soldiers tasked exclusively with presidential protection and regime security. These are not ceremonial troops. They are combat units equipped with armored personnel carriers, helicopter gunships, and mobile artillery. When Traoré travels, entire sections of the military are redeployed to create secure corridors. Roads are closed hours in advance. Rooftops are cleared. Airspace is restricted. The operation resembles a wartime convoy moving through hostile territory, because functionally, that's exactly what it is. You'll see why this coordination matters. The Presidential Guard, the ghost unit led by Traoré's brother, the intelligence operatives, and the national military do not operate in silos. They function as a synchronized defense network. Intelligence provides early warning. The ghost unit handles internal threats. The bodyguards form the inner ring, and the military provides overwhelming force as the outer perimeter. It's a system designed with redundancy at every level, ensuring that if one layer is breached, 3 others are ready to respond. During one documented incident, an armed group managed to penetrate a security checkpoint on the outskirts of the capital. They were neutralized within minutes by a rapid response unit that had been prepositioned based on intelligence chatter intercepted 2 days earlier. Proactive, reactive, lethal. But here's the tension. This level of militarization doesn't just protect Traoré. It isolates him. A president who requires thousands of soldiers, intelligence operatives, and biometric surveillance just to govern is a president who cannot move freely among his own people. Public appearances are rare and tightly scripted. Spontaneity is a liability, and that creates a political problem. Legitimacy, especially for a military leader who came to power through a coup, depends in part on visibility, on connection with the population. Traoré's security apparatus makes that nearly impossible. Show more. 12:17 a.m. Three nations, one defense pact, and a shared enemy, the West. When Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger formalized the Alliance of Sahel States in 2023, they didn't just sign a treaty. They created a mutual survival mechanism. And for Captain Ibrahim Traoré, that alliance is now the seventh layer of protection keeping him alive. Because the threats he faces don't stop at Burkina Faso's borders. They cross them. They are funded across them. And increasingly, they are coordinated across them. So Traoré's security strategy extends beyond his own military, beyond his own intelligence services, into a regional framework designed to make his assassination a multinational problem. The Alliance of Sahel States, or AES, functions as a collective defense system. If one leader falls, the stability of all three governments is threatened. That interdependence creates a strategic deterrent. An attack on Traoré is an attack on the alliance. And Mali and Niger have made clear, both publicly and through military deployments, that they will respond. Joint operations along shared borders have intensified. Intelligence sharing between the three nations now happens in real time, with liaison officers stationed in each capital. When credible threats emerge, they are assessed collectively. When foreign actors are identified as hostile, they are blacklisted across all three states simultaneously. This isn't just cooperation, it's integration. Russian involvement is woven throughout this alliance. Military advisors rotate between Ouagadougou, Bamako, and Niamey. Weapon shipments are coordinated to avoid gaps in defensive capability. And Moscow has signaled, through both diplomatic channels and military posture, that it views the AES as a strategic asset worth defending. That calculation gives Traoré a geopolitical shield. Any Western attempt to destabilize his government risks a broader confrontation, not just with Burkina Faso, but with a Russian-backed regional bloc. The stakes have been raised deliberately. But Layer 7 is institutional. Layer 8 is human. And this is where Traoré's protection becomes something more than military strategy. It becomes a popular movement. Across Burkina Faso, ordinary citizens have taken it upon themselves to act as eyes and ears for the state. Neighborhood watch groups, informal checkpoints, civilian patrols monitoring for suspicious activity. This isn't state-mandated surveillance. It's voluntary, grassroots, driven by a belief, whether genuine or manufactured, that Traoré represents a break from decades of failed leadership and foreign exploitation. In towns and villages, people watch the streets. They report strangers. They guard roads leading into communities. It's decentralized, uncoordinated in any formal sense, but remarkably effective at creating an ambient level of vigilance that makes clandestine operations harder to execute. You'll see why this matters. Traditional security relies on professionals. Traoré has professionalized his security? Yes, but he's also popularized it. He has cultivated an image of a leader under siege by foreign enemies, and that image has mobilized public support in ways that formal military structures cannot replicate. When citizens believe they are defending not just a president, but a national project of sovereignty and resistance, they become an extension of the security apparatus itself. Whether this loyalty is sustainable, whether it can survive economic hardship or military setbacks, remains an open question. But for now, it functions as an eighth layer of protection, diffuse and difficult to penetrate. This is the full picture. Elite bodyguards trained by Russian instructors. A secret unit led by Traoré's own brother, eliminating internal threats. A national intelligence agency rebuilt for offensive counterintelligence. Thousands of soldiers dedicated to regime security. A regional alliance that treats his survival as collective interest. And a population mobilized, voluntarily or otherwise, to act as sentinels. 8 layers, each one addressing a different vulnerability, each one reinforcing the others. But here's the geopolitical reality. This system is not a sign of strength. It's a sign of fragility. Leaders who govern securely don't need 8 layers of protection. They don't need Russian operatives embedded in their security apparatus. They don't need regional alliances to guarantee their survival. Traoré has built an impressive defensive network, but it exists because the threats are real, persistent, and growing. And the question isn't whether this system can keep him alive today. It's whether it can sustain a functional government tomorrow. Because survival and governance are not the same thing, and Burkina Faso needs both.